2017. Again, I'm Alderman Stoyer, I'm here, Alderman Tom Duane is here, Alderman Tom Slottick is here, Alderman Moore is excused. We also have Alder Nenning and Alder Dorf in the audience. So, do we have, well, an adoption of the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna move number 7 up after number 3.
Okay, do we have a second?
Support that second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Approval of the minutes from the May 9th, 2017 meeting?
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? That passes. Okay, number 7. Consideration with possible action on request to approve out-of-state travel for officers Gerardin and Allen to attend and make a presentation at the International Crisis Intervention Team Conference in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, August 15th through 18th of this year, at an estimated cost of $2,000 for room, board, and transportation.
Chief, did you do a background check on these? Move to approve. I'll just say it.
Second. Okay. All right, do we have any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There you go.
That passes. Have fun. All right, number 4. Consideration with possible action on request to fill the following replacement positions and all subsequent vacancies resulting from internal transfers. How do we want to handle this, one at a
Well,
time?
I just have one question if I can, and that's on B. I
Okay,
didn't know we had a financial supervisor for parks and that. What is, just give me, I'm not,
It's the office manager, but we're changing the title to financial supervisor, so we wanted to advertise it that way. So that's Marcia Schultz, who's retired, planning to retire.
What is the reason for the title change?
yeah, that's,
Because of the additional responsibilities that that position has taken on, so it's really a part of the study that we did. And so in looking at that and dealing with classification titles that would be appropriate with the classification, that would be the classification that that position would fall into, would be the financial supervisor. And the position supervises all the office staff in parks, recreation, and forestry. Donnie, do you have anything?
Yeah.
So we just thought we would advertise it with the title that we're looking for, so.
okay, I'll make a motion to approve 4A through H.
Tom, do you
I'll
have any?
second that.
Okay. All right, is there any other discussion? Otherwise, all in favor?
Right.
Aye, all opposed? There you go. Number 5, consideration with possible action on a request to reclassify and fill the following positions and all subsequent vacancies resulting from internal transfers. We'll start with 5A, request by the Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Department to reclassify the Assistant Wildlife Sanctuary Manager at pay grade 33, 46,875 to 58,363, to a non-exempt Park Ranger position at pay grade 29, $19.18 up to $23.85 per hour. So,
We get some background on
Yeah.
yeah, we need some
That's
information.
Okay, well,
Is it like just a part-time job now, or?
no, and I think Director Kramer and Director Reed are here to answer any questions that you might have, but if you look in your packet, is on page, should be 5A1, yes, 5A1. It won't be a part-time position, but it will no longer be an assistant manager position. And they're going to move it to a park ranger position, which is an hourly position, which will then do more work out in the field, so to speak, as opposed to some of the supervisory duties. And they're going to move some of their supervisory duties around. So that's what the recommendation is from the departments. You may have something else to add, I don't know.
Donnie, I had asked some information. Did you get that from me today?
Sure. What do you need?
Well, just come forward. I was just trying to get a handle on this a little bit. You know, I realized that there was a position, that person left. So I don't know if there's something to do with that per se, or was it a decision? What is the
No.
decision to
What
bring it down to
happened
this?
is we lose people or they retire or they go somewhere else. We always reevaluate our operations in those areas to see if there's some way that we can make them more efficient. And so in this case, what we did is we found out that we could take some of the administrative duties and we're adding those to some of our existing staff there. And then we're taking what we needed, we really need someone to take care of the grounds and to do the maintenance and mechanical and things like that. If we have a certain type of position that cannot do more than 20% of that, that was kind of locked in with our the old position, the assistant director position. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to make this position that position where we can use them for all those activities that need to happen on the grounds and maintenance of the facilities and buildings. And that's why we did what we did.
Thomas?
Tony, we've always had those positions. That's always been there since I've been here in 12 years, and we've always had a manager that was under our director. And
Well-
now, all of a sudden, we haven't been taking care of the park. It's a pretty nice park. It's always been maintained, so all those positions have been there already. I'm just really confused what's really going on,
Well, actually, if you remember, Frank Rosnick was there prior to,
right?
and he handled all those things. He didn't do anything administratively. He handled all the maintenance. And then we switched it over to the assistant director position, at which time we found that some of those activities were not getting done. We're way behind in a lot of activities on that, and maintenance and building upkeeps and animal upkeeps for the grounds. So that's why we decided to do what we could do. And we can change some of those administrative things to go to existing people, so that's covered, and then we get both areas covered for a better operation.
So now, are we expecting pay grade raises for these other people that you're adding more to?
No. They're gonna accept these duties under what they're doing. We alternated about 2 or 3 of them in certain areas. Like we have somebody taking over the deer management program now. You know, that's an existing staff member. Mike, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Hi, Mike. Yeah, if you have something to add to that, I'd appreciate it.
Sure. Well, thank you. Thank you for taking time to look at this. As Donnie said, our facilities at the Wildlife Sanctuary are over 20 years old, 20 to 30 years old, so needs have shifted over time. When we're in that initial building phase, as Alderman Dwayne said, historically, that's the way the positions were sort of laid out. Now that we're have some established facilities that are showing their age, we have over 400,000 visitors a year that we estimate, and 15,000 school kids, so the facilities take quite a bit of beating. We've lagged behind in our routine maintenance on many of the facilities. The park is nice, and we struggle to keep it maintained, but these are the areas that Donnie and I, when we looked at the analysis of the positions, were struggling to maintain. Right now, just our heating, air conditioning units, all the routine maintenance is done by a volunteer, not by staff. He's 86 years old. God love him, but we're not gonna have him for that much longer. So that falls then back onto us to know what's the most efficient use of staff, and we're always looking at ways to keep, for the taxpayers to get their most efficient use of staff and use of money, and donors. Donors who have donated millions of dollars to the Wildlife Sanctuary expect to have very well-maintained and cared for buildings and exhibits that they have contributed their money to. Right now, we have 7 full-time positions at the sanctuary, and 6 of those are administrative. So when you look at the structure, it just makes sense to have more hands-on. That's where the needs are, and future needs projecting out into the future. It streamlines the administrative process for us, and we were able to move some of these administrative duties that the assistant director had onto other staff that really wasn't burdensome. We were able to spread it out. So these are our critical needs. We have, 3 walk-in freezers. We have 3 pumps, wells. One is a high-capacity well. Our waterfalls is run in a large pump that's a mechanical system. All of these things are in need of maintenance and routine maintenance that really has not been being addressed at this time.
I'll move
Thomas?
approval.
Say it.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you, Mike.
You're welcome. Thank
All right, do we have any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
5B, request by the fire department to reclassify the sheriff clerk 3 position at general employee salary schedule 1602 to 1780 per hour to a fire administrative specialist at pay grade 26, 1635 to 2032 an hour.
Move to approve.
Do you have a question,
Second for
Tom?
discussion.
Okay. All right. Would you like to?
Let me give
Who's
you a
who's
little-
representing?
Let me
this?
give you a little background, then the chief can certainly add to that. But for many years, it's not two part-time. They had a clerk 3 position and they did a share. So that means that they basically like 2 part-timers, but they were also eligible to have benefits because that would be a shared position. And the last time that we hired someone for part of that shared position, we did indicate that when the individual retired, we were going to reassess the position and we'll be looking for somebody to fill it on a full-time basis because it hasn't been as workable. So I think this person is like a 30-year employee, so now's the opportunity to take a look at that. They're reshuffling all their duties in that area, and they really only have 2 administrative positions, so this would be the second one. And so they would like to go, they're looking at reshuffling those duties and then would like to go to 1 full-time position.
How will this impact the person that is not retiring, that is currently sharing that position?
She is aware of it, and I believe she's a candidate for the position. In all likelihood, I believe she's a candidate. So she's aware. She was hired about 2 or 3 years ago. It was very clear in her in her offer letter at that time that when this came up, it would get posted and she would have an opportunity.
So she knew that, and she
She
will
knew
be-
that,
She
and-
will be entitled to apply for it.
Absolutely, and there've been very open discussions
That's
with her.
fine, that's all I wanted to know, thank you.
Okay, anything else, Tom? Do you have the second?
I'm
then?
ready to go, I seconded already. so.
All right, there you go. Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, that passes. C, request by the Community and Economic Development Department to reclassify the half-time cleaner position, 1253 to 1392 an hour, to a full-time custodian 1 position, 1616 to 1796 per hour. This position will be fully funded by the Green Bay Housing Authority.
Move to approve.
Second,
Okay, any other discussion?
yes, one question. What is the vacancy rate at Mason Manor?
Occupancy rate is about low 90s, 92%.
92% occupancy rate? And I see the justification for making this move is largely faster turnover, so that vacancy, so that occupancy rate should go up. What do you anticipate getting it up to?
We would like to get it up to 96 to 98%.
And you believe this change will help that happen?
It's a contributing factor that will help with it greatly.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion and we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? That passes. Number 6, consideration with possible action on a request by the Public Works Department to make the following changes to the Parking Division Table of Organization effective upon implementation of the new automated parking access and revenue control system, PARCS, on or about August 1st, 2017. This change will result in an annual savings of $161,946 for salaries and benefits.
I've been waiting for this one, it's been a while. I knew it was
Yeah.
coming, I just didn't know when.
Well, we've got...
I got a
there's-
question
I'm
for
just
Steve.
wondering, I was looking on this next page if we need to just go 1 bullet point at a time, or... Okay, go ahead.
Steve, I know I've read it and I've talked to you before that positions or people won't be losing their jobs. I mean, you're gonna look for different positions for these employees, right?
That is correct.
Yeah.
I need some discussion on the 2 positions we're adding.
Absolutely.
Can you give us some?
In short, we have almost full-time coverage, but we have some Saturday and Sunday coverage that's
Right, I
missing,
saw that
plus
in your
being
memo.
able to backfill in times of time away from work or vacations. So that's where that custodian position that we're requesting comes in to help supplement and augment the existing staff, provide that full 24/7. When we go with the automated-
Let me ask a question for clarity on that. your memo said that right now, we don't have that position covered on Saturday evenings for a 5-hour block, I think it is, and on Sundays for a short block of time.
Correct.
Why are we adding a full-time person to fill those 2 gaps?
It does two things. It fills those 2 gaps, plus provides us with some supplemental coverage to cover vacations and time away from work.
You cover that stuff now though, right?
Not completely.
If I may, I'm Mary from parking.
Yes, Henry.
What will happen is, say it's a given Saturday or a given Sunday, there are 4 maintenance people in one classification, and then there'll be 4 custodians. Every 4th weekend is their weekend to work. When we go to the 24-hour coverage, one employee will come in at 6 o'clock in the morning and work to 2:30 in the afternoon. The other person working that every 4th weekend will work 2 to 10:30 that day, and then the night people come in and work 10:30 at night till 6:30 in the morning. Then the next time, and then 4 weeks later, when it is again their weekend to work, they will flip-flop. The shift that came in early this weekend will come in late the following time, and the shift that came in late would come in early the next time. I don't have enough staff to be able to do that. Plus, we have the river ramp that was given to us, given to the city. The one above the,
We're managing.
yeah, we're
That's
managing it, the one above the Children's Museum. That's added to our workload. That's a very small, tight ramp, and, yeah.
Okay, thank you for that additional information. Tell me about the next position that we're adding.
Again, I'm going to lean real heavily on Mary, but in short, that provides an additional body for enforcement, plus helps provide some additional coverage.
Okay, so when the cashiers go away, it will be the other staff that will be needed in the facilities to help with parkers if they have any questions using the equipment. And that means that all parking staff, from maintenance to enforcement to the custodians, will have to know how to run the equipment, go over there, and basically everybody's got a cell phone now, and we just kind of send out, go here, go there, to answer calls. Also with the enforcement attendants, I've been at parking a long time, since '87. Over the years, what we're seeing in the apartment complexes is pretty substantial for how people are enforcing. The apartment complexes throughout the city are trying to deter vehicles that don't belong to residents from staying there overnight. And during the daytime, we're all over town. That's become a real, what do I want to call it? I don't want to say a gold mine, but a real issue for us to cover that area. And during the school times, we are heavy at the schools. We have 1 driver east, 1 driver west. When we have, I'm going to be off the top of my head, 17 or 18 schools on each side of it that we go to at the elementary and high school. And there is just no way I can have officers at all these different schools without some extra people. You know, some of these schools, they want Eldo. We had a near miss up there with a child and a parent the other day. Edgewood, Edison.
We have been looking, it has been our desire to increase the EA staff for the last couple of years, but because we are a special revenue account, we are not on the taxpayer levy. We can't do that and remain in a cost-neutral position. So the EA increase in staff is not directly tied to our decision to go to automated parks, but the automated parks provides us with the expenditure savings to allow us to make the request to increase the EA staffing.
Okay, thank you for
They're
that
separate, but
clarification.
somewhat related.
Appreciate that. No other questions?
All right. There's a motion?
Thought we did.
We did, all right. Can I get a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? Passes, all right. Number 8. Consideration with possible action on revised request to approve classification and compensation study to include Alderman Moore's request to not delay the October 1st, 2017 general increase and to discuss options to offset the additional cost for a zero budget impact for 2017 if new pay structure is approved.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Alderman Moore can't be here tonight, and so I want to make a motion to take 8, 9, and 10 and hold for next month so he can be here.
Okay.
Is 8 time sensitive?
Well, in terms of the salary study, the only time sensitivity is, and I'm going
Wait,
to turn to,
If I may,
Okay.
I just want to hold 9 and 10. Let's continue with number 8. I apologize. I'm
Okay.
jumped ahead here.
I was going to say, because the
I am
only,
sorry.
the issue there is really with finance. If it does get approved, I don't know what your time frame is to get things into, to project for the next budget year.
2018 budget.
So July would be cutting it pretty close, right?
Mhm.
But, so,
Well, is there anything that we as a committee can look at on that?
Mr. Chairman, the item says, discuss options to offset the additional cost
mhm.
for zero budget impact, so I presume we're gonna hear some options?
Well, what we discussed and what our recommendation for your consideration is to, the cost for 2017, if this were implemented on December 1st, is 13, to the general fund, I gotta find it, it's $12,021, oh, plus the associated benefit costs, so $13,764. What we looked at and what we communicated to the department heads is that each department would have a responsibility for what is their appropriate portion of that. They would have to come up with cost savings to cover the month of December. And so, they don't know exactly what the numbers are. I think the highest is probably about $2,500 for the larger departments. But they have worked through that, and we'll be sending out to the department heads what their cost savings that they would have to come up with to cover that cost. So that's what our option was looking at. Now, if we find in December that we're ahead on terms of our vacancies, it may come out of there. But that, we won't know really until the November timeframe, because that would be another option, would be to look at whether or not the vacancy savings could cover that as well. But we did pull out the general fund expenses versus the other funds.
Okay, and has that been shared with the department heads?
Yes, I did send it out to the department heads and asked if they had any concerns with that or other suggestions, and I did not get any negative feedback from that. So, and those that I talked to are aware of it, so they are aware.
So you also don't have a feedback that says they're committed.
That's true, but,
I was very careful to
Yeah.
hear.
I know.
I haven't heard anybody reject it.
Right,
you know.
nobody
That's short of
rejected it,
commitment.
right.
You might
I
wanna
held my
hold
breath
it
and no
till-
one said no, but we did
Till
send that out to them. We didn't indicate the specific numbers, but they are aware of it, so,
Let's hold it.
well,
I
Let's
feel
hold it. Get more
comfortable.
information.
Do you want to make a motion to that? Do you want to hold it? I would say,
I don't know that I need to hold it. I mean, we could go ahead with it, subject to having heard from the department heads by the council
I'm gonna
meeting
abstain anyway.
that they're committed to it.
I'll abstain today, because I'm not ready to vote on this yet.
you know, actually, the four largest department heads are all here, and so they could actually, but you're right, I did not hear anything back from them either way.
well, I'd like to, the department heads, if you could chime in on any of that, are you fine with what's moving forward, Steve? I mean, I
But
don't
at the
know.
end of the day, if we're gonna move this thing forward, this is something that we have to be taking on. Do I wanna take another $2,500 hit to my budget? Not particularly, but in the grand scheme of things, this is gonna help move this forward, and I think this plan is a good plan, so I'm willing to do it.
Okay, Donnie?
I agree. Same things you said. We're gonna move it and make it go. We gotta be a partner.
Okay, Chiefs?
I agree. Unfortunately for me, I think I'm gonna have more cost savings than I'd anticipated because of vacancies. I'm projecting now as many as 21 vacancies between now and Christmas. And so I'm scrambling to fill those. I'm not confident I'll be able to do that, so I'll have certainly money left over for that.
Chief Glidden?
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way. Director Bowens, I think her request was, unless we had any issues with it, we did not need to respond, so
Okay.
therefore I did not.
Thank you
There you
for the
go.
clarification.
But
So
much
you
like,
can learn from that. Always demand a response.
much like
Still don't feel?
Chief Smith, we do have vacancies already that have occurred the last several months here, so
Okay.
that's where we would pick the savings up.
You feel comfortable with that?
Yeah, I go ahead based on it.
Okay, well, so, do we have a motion to that effect?
Move to approve.
Okay, do we have a second? second just for discussion?
Okay, that's
We already
fine.
discussed,
That's fine.
we already
I'll
discussed
be
it.
ready by council.
All right. Okay, well, this will come to council anyhow, so.
Right.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Do we, any other discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And you will?
Abstain.
And you could abstain, okay. That passes.
I'll be ready.
You will be. All right, number 9, consideration with possible action on Alderman Moore's request to survey mayor salaries in other Wisconsin municipalities and suggestion that consideration be given to establishing a competitive salary for the mayor by increasing the salary as follows. A number of points there.
Well, hold for next month.
Second.
Number 9 and 10.
Second.
Okay, all right. Any other discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, that passes.
Mr. Chairman, hold number 11 till next month per Alderman Nicholson.
Okay, can we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that passes. Number 12, consideration with possible action to approve the memorandum of understanding with the Green Bay Professional Police Association to add a police sergeant classification.
Move to approve.
Do we need to have any closed session discussion?
Only if you have a need to go into closed session, because it really is very, right along the lines of what we discussed in, previously, and I think that the memorandum that's attached here covers really, that is, all the specifics in terms of that agreement, so,
Okay, fine.
they will be taking it to a ratification vote in the next week or so, it's recommended to approve.
And I agree with that as well, so. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Number 13, consideration with possible action on report of routine personnel actions for regular
Move to
employees.
receive and place on file.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Move to adjourn.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.